Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shanghai Major Qualifiers. We're getting ready for game number 2 with Spirit. They took a bit of a barn burner off of Vega.
A
Game number
barn
1.
burner?
It's a barn burner.
What is that?
Barns burn slowly.
Okay,
So.
well you're Aussie.
I grew up
right?
on a farm. Like we have forest fires, so we'd never say a barn burner. Probably.
See, well here in civilization we
You
burn
burn barns.
barns because we hate farmers. So yeah, that's where the term comes from.
Sounds about right.
That's
Excellent.
actually Dragon Knight's backstory. Is just a poor farmer
Who
and
just throws his
BTS
little
goes
lantern,
in, goes in and just ignites everything.
kills farm animals for fun.
We blame the dragons though.
I mean, he
they
looks
work
like
out.
a sadist, let's be honest. So. All right, we're into game number 2. A total curveball, at least for me. I did not get to watch all the Spirit games. Have they been running Tiny IO? Because every game I saw, it was a push strat.
It's
It's
gold
usually
black,
banned, but-
right? Yeah, it normally gets banned out against them, but they do.
Look at
Iceberg plays it really well.
It's
actually.
so interesting going from China to Europe, and look at the bans. Like
Not even
first
close.
phase Zeus Lone Druid bans. Literally, no one cares about Lone Druid in China right now.
What's up with that? Is
OG
it just they
hasn't
don't
been
play
getting
it?
picked at all.
Do they just not play the lone druid over there? Is it not popular? Is it not like cool to be a bear?
I think they will run it. It just hasn't been experimented with that much.
Not much.
Similar to how in Americas it feels like Omni Knight is something that's pretty big and popular, and it doesn't get played.
I feel like there's a lot of gank-oriented lineups that are run through China as well, and Lone Druid can just get absolutely crushed by that if you're able to actually close on him and just kill the Druid over and over. So the Earth Spirit, Night Stalker, Faceless Void stuff that some of the teams run. Obviously, LGD has a completely different strategy that Lone Druid. Well, you and Gods talked about it a little bit about the potential for Sylar Lone Druid, but it's just the kind of stuff that we haven't really seen from them. It's much more lycanthrope, if anything.
And in this game, it's actually a bit of a switch up where Vega are the ones running the Chen, and they then go into a Beastmaster. So looks like they may want to pressure early. You see the IO off the bat. One of the weaknesses of IO is this hero does not deal with 5-man strats very well, unless it's able to just stall and split push. And it seems Vega, they tried the rat way. They have decided to purify themselves and cleanse the sins away, and now they're going to see the light. And they're going to 5-man. Are we going to see a Dragon Knight next? That just feels like a super push strat.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of heroes that you can kind of anchor around as the mid laner, and obviously we've seen quite a few options for no one. He's kind of more a finesse player, but I'm sure he can brute force it when he needs to. And of course, the solo Chen. That's actually legendary is a strong word, but it's very well known, very renowned, and it definitely has the potential to build a ton of momentum, even against the IO Tiny. So I think towers are definitely going to be falling in favor of Vega, and we'll have to see how long Team Spirit can hold.
I mean, they banned Coddle and Lich. That's like, these bans are like, we just want a 5-man and end the game at 25 minutes.
It's because Godlike would pick it. He's like,
Yeah.
he optimizes, and he's like, well, this
Actually,
is the hero.
they didn't ban Tree, shockingly.
He
I don't
and
thi-
he has been running that a bit. in
I don't
this
actually think Tree's that good against 5-man push. I think he's much better against like split push,
Yep.
because you're just going to kill off the armor very quickly.
Did you see the game where Gold Black went Iron Talon support tree that rushed an Aghanim Scepter? Tree,
No,
yeah, that
but
was
legit.
it was a life choice. Either way, here I do like how Vega Squadron's optimized. Like they know IO Tiny most likely going to be mid. They should be getting a solo offlaner and then a dual lane. They can maybe take advantage of that with a Chen. It's coming out and ganking some. For Team Spirit, though, taking a really long time on this next pickup.
I mean, yeah, I think they see the Shaman, they look at the bans, and if they didn't already suspect a heavy push, now they definitely do. And so it's how do you find that balance? Do you just try to dominate the lanes and prevent them from coming online? Do you try to pick a little bit of team fight and D-push in case you do have to fight them head-on? This is kind of the decision point of the draft for them.
Exactly. They can drop down to 1 second reserve time. It's warranted because this is the pick that will define how the rest of the draft plays out.
Yeah.
So
What do you want to see out of them, Blaze?
I'm not so sure about the Bane. That's actually not something that I'm very confident in. I mean, yeah, we've seen cool things with like the tiny Nightmare into tossback under tower and stuff like that, and there's some potential, but you've already got the IO to couple with the tiny. Bane will help in the laning phase so that Vega don't get as much momentum there, but you've got to have a plan for counter push, and Coddle is not it.
How about something like the Gyro? Obviously, he needs a bit of items before he's got the clear, but he is physical wave clear with the flat cannon, and he usually has a decent time laning.
Gyro is decent. It's a tiny plus Gyro is a ton of farm, so then they
Yes.
need someone really item independent, like a Clockwork maybe for the offlane. But I don't mind Gyro. It gives you something that can actually slow down the 5-man.
Yeah. I think Witch Doctor's not too bad. There's a bunch of summons, a lot of creeps in play, so the cask is really good. The only other hero that really gets benefits for their spells against creeps would be Crystal Maiden, and she really wouldn't be relevant here at all. So, no, I think the Paralyzing Cask, the Witch Doctor, has a lot of value, but that would mix up their roles a lot. So, we're mostly focused on core heroes here. There are quite a few good off-lane counter pushers, but in the carry role, like Gyrocopter... A Sniper is actually not too bad. I actually think Sniper could be completely legit here.
For Spirit?
Yeah. You hold against the Mass Serpent Wards really well. You keep your distance, and you just make sure that if they dive the tower, that they're screwed. Offlane Enchantress already. And,
This is... Are we going to see Jungle Wars?
I think maybe just... Yeah, I think she's offlane most likely, but I think it's the whole, the push is coming to you, dominate something big, or enchant something big of theirs, turn it back against them, slow things at the very least, and of course she can actually be pretty heavy damage output, but she does need a lot of farmers. Well, not she needs at least that Ags, Dragon Lance Ags.
I mean, it is interesting. They see this draft and they're like, yeah, we're going to pick another single target hero with no deep push. Vega's just going to... They're banning like the standard counters to push strats, and Spirit are just willfully picking total, off the wall non-counters, but just, stuff they're comfortable with.
Sure. I think Beastmaster has to go for Drums of Endurance here because the Enchantress untouchable. Like, you really need to connect with her. I don't think it affects the Mass Serpent Wards, so maybe Shadow Shaman has some solo kill potential. But in general, untouchable is going to be maxed out for this offlane Enchantress, and it's going to make things annoying at the very least. Like, he can just kind of peg down somebody with his mana pool, the Impetus, and then it's even within their Beast, the Aura, it's still difficult to really focus her.
I mean, I'm just saying, I know what wolves do to deer, and it ain't pretty.
Yeah, but she's a much bigger deer than the wolves. Like, that's like normal sized deer. She's a huge deer.
Have you seen this guy? Like him?
He does turn into a huge
That's
wolf.
like that's like a dire wolf out of Game of Thrones. This thing is like a small truck.
He's a bit of a face eater, I'm not gonna lie. So for Vega, one last pick. I'm assuming it's mid because Beastmaster. I guess they could mid the Beastmaster against the IO Tiny, but not so hot. And maybe just something like Alina. I know no one comfortable on quite a few of those.
Even Viper would be fine. Just
Sure.
someone that's difficult to burst can just be a ranged siege engine. Lina, good call.
They like
Llama?
her a lot. No one does.
How would a llama fare against a wolf?
Actually, so llamas and alpacas in Australia, we've recently been using them as god dogs because anything that looks like a god, they kill. So they will. Sorry, anything that looks like a dog, they kill. So they'll actually destroy dingoes. But then
are dingoes a real problem?
Yeah. But they'll kill your sheepdogs is the real problem. So like you have this trade-off where you're like, so the sheep don't get eaten by dingoes, but then they kill your sheepdogs. So
there's a llama meta then.
Yeah.
You're telling me.
Exactly.
One of those llamas is Mafia. I don't know.
Good luck finding out which one it is. They don't talk very much. I always say kill the quiet ones. That's my Mafia policy. So.
What's going to happen when you wake up in the night? Is it going to be sheepdog dead, or is it going to be a dingo?
Okay, so
only one way to find out.
they went timber, and they do this. I don't know how familiar. Oh, we've caused a lot of spirit, but they'll put Ramses on this really weird. He might even safe lane the traditional offlaner, and then he's just like it's what you would think of as an offlane hero. He does it with a Beastmaster too, but he's gonna get a lot of farm on this Timbersaw. And, Chakram, that helps against pushing, so...
Yeah, no, it's definitely the safe lane Timbersaw from Ramses here, and he should be able to get a good amount of farm. You're just looking at Soul Ring Arcanes when the push ensues, but that should be enough to get a few good Chakrams out. And then when you want to commit, you can definitely, burst down a Chen, maybe even prevent a Hand of God.
A really fat Timber can just completely stop the push in its tracks. Aside from the wards, which they don't really have a great way to snipe, Enchantress is decent, especially if she gets the... Ags Dragonlance, but...
Who are you running here where, though? Because they could run... I've seen them do this before where they run duel with Ramses on a traditional offlane hero, but it might actually be a bit better to help the Enchantress out some.
Probably Tiny IO mid, Timber safe, Bane can be anywhere, and then Enchantress offlane.
Exactly.
That would be my guess.
That's where I'm expecting it to pan out here. Now, I'm actually finding an interesting theme of Godblack's draft here, which probably has no relevance, but I wanted to note that they have three sources of pure damage now. They have the Impetus, Brain Sap, and, most of Timbersaw's spells. So, there's not that much armor mitigation, magic resistance kind of stuff coming in from Vega, but I guess it makes sure that they don't have the option of, getting the cloak creep.
I mean, these lineups, they generally build mech, they build Vlads, they may even get a Solar Crest to throw on the hero on the front lines, and I mean, to your point, pure damage, you don't care about that. So
Yeah. I just find it interesting that there's actually, like, this lineup will be happy against a Huskar or Meepo. Like, it doesn't, like, they have so many ways of just dealing direct damage that won't be mitigated.
yeah, I am a little curious if it was intentional, like, oh, we need a bunch of pure damage, or just a byproduct of the heroes they wanted.
And as you mentioned, it will be interesting to see, because there is a lot of pure damage. Instead, you know, the only magic burst is Tiny using that avalanche toss. Whether they bother, I doubt this Chen has to bother with the cloak creep at all. So probably just gonna obviously Ags get some dragons or frenzy creeps for the push. So we'll see.
The horn sounds and underway. We are.
I love this new little spot. You see everything. It's just nice. You got some little
He's the
stairs
star
up.
at the top of the Christmas
First time
tree.
I saw that, I was like, wait, how did this hero get clipped? There's no Rubik in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learned something new.
Yeah. So they go with the Iceberg Bounty Rune. That there's actually a newer meta of options between whether the Wisp takes the Bounty Rune or the Tiny. Obviously, the Tiny getting that experience boost is very helpful for farming up those jungle stacks faster, maybe getting a kill because of the earlier skill points. But you do wait a little bit longer for your Wisp bottle.
Yeah, it'll... obviously, Lena, she's someone who can try to just stand back CS with the Dragon Slave, but we have seen a lot of success in tossing in, you know, the IO, getting the tether off, smacking around the opponent.
She's got pretty bad move speed early on, so you get the Points of Fiery Soul and your upgraded boots, so definitely one of the more killable heroes if you don't use the range.
Blaze and I were just both pointing, realizing that the reason the Enchantress is bottom is to be a little bit rude. They're dominating or enchanting the boar and then just turning it back on him. That's actually painful.
Like, Beastmaster's actually... I don't think he maxes board now. Like, he's actually pretty useless. He wants to go Inner Beast.
That's pretty cheeky.
Yeah, like the...
Wow, this is an early smoke gank by the...
There's no reason to summon boars in that lane, is mostly my point. So
And a very ineffective one.
I thought maybe he had some hope with the tomato creep, but no.
That was a very awkward time to gank when the lane's pushing into the tower. Normally, when you see that, it's when the lane is either at equilibrium or pushing out. And if it's push out a lot, you sweep behind the tier 1, but... Well, didn't waste too much time on it. Back to the jungle. He will go. Ava. No choice. That would not have been a kill.
Nope.
Yeah. There's a lot of different options here, and as you said, because of the move speed and the way Lena reacts, you can maybe toss her back into your tower. You can maybe toss the Iona or creep up on her, but you're going to need her a little bit lower first, and always want to fly. I wonder what the progress is on that bottle.
He's got to happen soon.
yeah, it's just gonna come on the core. Like, you get it naturally so fast,
Yeah.
as long as you don't buy any items. I didn't see his starting items, but he's got it on the core right now.
I'd be surprised if he doesn't have it by now.
Okay, he does have it. Okay, so yeah, it's. I mean, you naturally get it within like the first minute. So
Well, that's big. They got the double rune spawn and a DD rune for Afterlife bottom. This is going to be a miserable lane for Mag. He's actually CSing well, but
what do you
maybe under
do
a lot
though?
more
Like
harass.
you have good base armor. You have.
I guess you just
good
farm.
base
You don't
damage.
try to like shut her down really.
You can't even summon your board. There's no point to it unless you're trying to trade mana because it's slightly more efficient for you. But otherwise, yeah, you are just a right click. You're a big melee creep.
Additionally, as we just saw, I'm not sure how the Chen has lane impact. Obviously, you can farm up. You can say maybe an early mech and early Ags, but ganking bottom is really rough. We already talked about Enchantress and Untouchable. Then ganking mid, you're going to need some help, probably. You don't want to go just in 2v2. Well, maybe with the army of creeps. And top, Timber Chain away. So
The one big thing bottom though is Mag does have the Howl to work with, and it's definitely helped him stay in the lane. You can see a little harassed, but not too severe at this stage.
So we'll be probably waiting a while for a kill, unless Chen, I think, gets exactly the creeps that he wants. And up top, well, it's just... Okay, they're just playing really close.
Yeah, so Chen's in farm mode right now. That's fine. It's always a acceptable fallback just to say, hey, they're not messing with my jungle at all. They're not blocking camps. I can just go ahead and clear creep waves and get a faster level 5. That's going to get you 3 creeps, and that's when you really start bringing the pain.
For top lane, too, this Timber looks like he's farming almost as well as the Lycan, which I don't not expect it, but it's going to go well for them. They have great lanes here for Team Spirit. I would say definitely winning bottom. You can argue they're tying top, but they're going into mid-game happy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Chen's going to get involved here, but it looks like it's already too late. As long as the Timbersaw keeps his distance from the Shadow Shaman, he's at no risk at all. The Wolf harassment isn't going to be substantial against the reactive armor. And just in general, I think the Timbersaw's a pretty happy camper. They did make a very conscious decision to match up the Enchantress bottom. and then the Timber Saw does get a little bit less top, but he's obviously gotten plenty.
Yeah, and speaking of it, they managed to get the Shadow Shaman around. That'll be our first blood. No chance to Chimba Chain away. But it took them, 4 minutes to get Chen involved in anything, and that was a really good spot, though. I don't know if they noticed the Bane had rotated off the lane. I think they did because they have a ward up there.
Yeah, Solo's having a pretty good time. He goes for the first smoke gank, doesn't work, gets the first blood. He's still at level 3.5. That's quite good considering how much time he spent going on the top lane.
Yeah. And who knows why Bandit is sad there, one of our ops. So.
At what point do we have to resort to Owen?
I'm just wondering.
You know the other obs are bad when OD Pixel gets in the chair.
So, Enchanters, I do think it's Dragonlance first. Is there anything else you think maybe should go here?
She's got her treads, maybe a mana support item like Urn or Wand, but yeah, Dragonlance. It's a good item. Good item. That's actually like I definitely like as far as Dragonlance goes, she is top one carrier for that item.
Is there
Top 1?
Like there's no way you can test that spot. She is the hero to get Dragonlance on.
kind of one of those, we already talked about it a bit, but it seems really underwhelming compared to some of the other newer items. And yep, be interested to see. Beastmaster probably going for that Necromonicon even before finishing Brown Boots, but here it comes. Oh, the spirits are going to see it, but will that help? Always want to fly, taking a lot of damage. Hello, Shockwave increase. Can they get one more auto?
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, it's just IO things. But that's the Shockwave creep. The Satyr Tormentor Shockwave got buffed last patch. It does so much damage.
How much did it get buffed by?
Buff is an understatement. It's like 60 more damage.
Yeah.
It's greater, longer range.
It is
I
slower.
noticed
Slower, but it's hits wider.
I noticed
so
the range yesterday. That was ridiculous.
It's actually absurd. Like the old Wild Wing that everybody used to complain about. Oh, it destroys mid lane because it gave
just
vision.
wins the lane.
It gave vision, so you could just put it on them. No, I feel that the current Shockwave is as bad as the old Tornado.
Okay.
It's actually something where I'm a little surprised. If you find one of those, you could actually have come mid. I don't think the Chen found one until just then. Otherwise, you would have seen more spam.
It's all about when it spawns.
Yeah, but you can actually. It's pretty easy now to line it up on two people, especially at tiny IO. So you could come in there, do mad harass.
Well,
Oh, this is some zoom
it
action.
seems Atticavant has discovered the zoom function.
It goes out so far. Yeah, I different configs.
He's making sure that it works.
Yeah, you gotta check
I can
these
confirm
things.
it does.
Oh,
Rocks
double rocks
on the rock.
Rock on rock action.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some people.
That's what the viewers came here for.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just be waiting. It's a bit of a... It looks like the first game was like this too, but kind of funny. I've seen these teams play much more aggressively. Obviously, this is a really important match, but... Oh yeah, you got that ball. It's really nice to see, arguably, some discipline coming up from both sides.
I think it's a very even start overall. They get the first blood on Vega. It did take away from the Chen's jungle time. Tiny is farming really well. Actually, all the cores on Spirit doing quite well. Vega, a little more even distribution with the Chen. But it's really going to come down to the mid-game execution. Do they use the Shaman wards effectively? Are they able to roll up objectives? Or do heroes get picked off by relocates and die one by one? It's so much... like, the cool thing is the laning stage has been relatively a wash, so it's not really about the lanes now. It's going to be about just mid-game decision-making and execution.
Yeah. So to be specific about the Satyr Tormentor Shockwave buff, it is only a 35 damage increase, but because the creep can spam that so many times, he casts it 6 times at least, it adds up so quickly, and it can completely delane certain heroes. So he's keeping it around along with the Centaur, and with a Roar, they should find a kill.
Well, there's the Aegis.
Oh, we have a lot of folks coming in mid. That is 304. We're going to see the roll. Hello, there's going to be some damage. Shockwave, and that'll be that. But I think they're going in for the push. They don't have level 6 yet.
Oh. What?
Look.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I hear Laguna Blade. No, there's a Laguna Blade in mid. Tiny's getting pretty low. Is he taking enough autos? He goes down to the Shadow
She's turning
Shaman.
this, though. She wants to go in on the Chen.
Yeah, and she's trying, but now look at them. Oh, okay, Chen is going down. Untouchable is ridiculous.
Yes.
I like how she walks into the Centaur, the entire Chen army, and the Beastmaster, and just giggles.
Fluffy tail status untouched.
Doing very well there. Unfortunately, Shadow Shaman did help take down the Tiny. I'm a little surprised the rotation came before the wards were up, but that's also something to note. If Team Spirit loses a team fight, Vega can very easily take 1, maybe even 2 towers, whereas Team Spirit, I think until they have that Ags up online on Tiny, they're not really in that same situation to push so easily.
Yeah, they're not the best at taking towers at this stage of the game, but they can still cut the wave, maybe get a couple creeps for the Enchantress and try to move with her army. Overall, I think that's pretty good that Always Wanna Fly does tank the gank. Yeah, you want to get your level 6 in the IO, but much better him than one of their other cores.
And then, of course, they get to turn it around there, so that's some good value there, that getting some kill momentum on the way of Team Spirit for once.
Slow and Steady's going to do it. Looks like, I believe that's the drums now completed on Tony. Off to the jungle he goes. I didn't see how much stacking they got to do this game. I saw like one double stack at the medium camp earlier.
It's also a lot rougher, of course, with those cloak creeps. You used to do, you can kind of say it's like your level +1 in times 1,000 of damage, times 100 of damage. Sorry, yeah, times 100. But now
1,000 would be great.
Yeah, that would be. I just maybe a little overpowered, but
one
who knows?
avalanche,
Who knows?
entire quad stack of big creeps just dies instantly.
You know, I'm sure Ice Frog could make it work. But yeah, it's a lot harder if you get the cloak creeps.
Please don't give him any ideas.
So
he has enough on his own.
Yeah, now the farming pattern is usually toss once, and then you back off,
Yeah.
wait for the cooldown, and then you avatoss, and you got it.
It's so sad. Sometimes it does like sub 500 damage depending on the camp. It's very depressing, but we're still not. Okay, we do have wards up on Sioma. Was apparently how you meant to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
It sounds good to me. I do not claim to be an expert.
Oh, we're never.
All I know is no matter how I say it, it's always wrong.
Okay, Mag gonna be going down. Very nice, quick pick off, and that's exactly what Team Spirit need to do. Might poke away at this. I don't know if I would be down there as a Shadow Shaman. Yeah, and he's backing on out.
This is definitely one of the methods to shut down a push strat, which is just never let them group up. So pick heroes off here and there. Anytime a hero dies, that will delay Vega by at least 30 seconds to a minute. If not longer, you can get the other lanes out. Gives you more time to farm. And their cores are doing well. But again, I do worry a bit about the Spirit supports. Pretty underfarmed right now and could become liabilities if Vega start to get the momentum.
Noticing that the Timbersaw actually has a point booster, but not a soul ring. So kind of surprised they didn't go for the soul ring. Usually you'll see that as the first item after Arcanes, but sometimes even before. But
It's like they want to make a move.
yeah, I guess he's valuing the durability. He just doesn't want to be like burst down by Laguna and etc.
They have Shaman wards now. So Vega are going to look for a tower. I don't think they care too much about getting a hero kill. If your Spirit immediately plan should be just to split push and maybe relocate on a different lane. I don't see them being able to defend against this at this stage, though.
Yeah, and they can poke away at top. I mean, the Lycan, not exactly a great defender.
Hey, guys, we got a lot of shit here. That's what that circle meant to me.
Yeah, we got some business going down there. Actually, maybe going to be able to... Yeah, they're going to take out mid, which is... Albeit the bottom lane tower is so powerful on Radiant, it really, really protects your jungle. But getting mid in exchange and a lot of damage on top seems like a great trade.
I mean, they're out pushing the push light up right now. This is excellent. By
Yeah,
Spirit.
the wards. I mean, the wards are always for one tower, which is a really big weakness of Shadow Shaman early in my mind. And they're going to relocate actually. And the scenario is not enough to set up the kill opportunity unless Lycan comes out of the woods.
Yeah, he has
wants
to,
to
though.
go and always want to fly. I don't think he can kill him in time.
Oh, very almost. But even if he caught him, it's, you know, it's a wolf. He's running around, and now Ramsey's probably just gonna...
You can't kill Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So I think he felt very rich maybe as well on the Timbersaw, because he got a lot more out of the lane than you might traditionally.
Yeah, I mean in general, and he's given one position priority here and there, not for the entirety of the game, but every once in a while he's able to go and just focus on farm. So, and then once you get a couple of items, some good mana efficiency, and then the Aghanim Scepter, like you actually farm faster than most heroes in the game.
Oh, the Dragon Lance is up. How do you feel about how that item looks? I think it's kind of weird.
Just the
it's
icon?
Yeah, it's just like wings popping out of a what? It's just like
It's
weird.
a lance.
How
with
would you
wings.
lance dragons?
It's a lance with wings.
No, I would assume you'd make the lance out of dragons. You'd like kill a dragon. You'd like take some of their scales, like polish
Okay,
them
you
up.
give me a mock-up of your Dragon Lance. We will compare notes.
Excellent.
But right now, I am perfectly satisfied because I like impetusing
All
people across the
complaints
entire.
can be
Perfectly satisfied because you like impetus. We're keeping that one on the notes. We got Solo just poking away. I don't know, early Roche, I like it.
This is pretty systematic. I am curious to see if Spirit even try to contest. I still don't think they're nearly strong enough.
Yeah, they're just pushing top tower.
I think you just continue split pushing. You know they're going to get Roshan. Like the key fights are going to come when they either look for high ground or maybe a tier 2, depending on the item progression. Timbersaw not quite online yet. So I think Spirit's playing this well. They're showing pretty good patience and maturity, that not trying to force things when they're not quite ready.
Also, of course, getting all of these towers, it's just really gonna, like, Timber's gonna have that Bloodstone. There's gonna be the high ground push is going to start to get really rough for Vega. So, and yeah, Enchantress just having a field day. What do you do to counter that, though? It feels like Vega did have a problem where when the Enchantress came out, they did have a bit of burst. Of course, you've always got Alina who has like Laguna and so on, but just the lane against her was super lost.
Yeah. Well, you still have the ability to kind of move the lane and respond. There's going to be more risk when the Tiny gets a Blink Dagger. Or, well, yeah, you're never going to see like max enchant on an offlane Enchantress, so you don't really have to worry about getting slowed and then relocated on. But essentially, you have to be worried about what's on the other side of the tree line. If you just try to say, hey, let's scare off this solo Enchantress pushing our tower, you're probably just going to die, because that Tiny's going to be right on you with the Avatos, 1 or 2 impetuses, that's plenty of damage, even with Hand of God. So I feel like it's not really the biggest issue now. It's the objective focus of bottom tier 1 and Roche. It takes you away from top. But as the game progresses, it's going to be you have to send more and more people to defend and respond, and that means you're not pushing.
And we have a relocate gank on creeps. Doesn't succeed, though. Gets the wave.
They just want to push the lanes out, so they know they're not going to be using relocate to fight because they know Vega's going to be 5-manning, so get the wave pushed out, maybe even leave Tiny there, and the Wisp will just go back mid. Looks like that is what they did. And even if you don't kill it, like, they just constantly want to pressure towers, try to trade, get your Ags up on Tiny, wait for the Timberstall Bloodstone to come online, and then hopefully build towards his next item. The real fight is going to come when it gets to the high ground situation.
And this is what we mentioned. They didn't have great push on Team Spirit until the Tiny had Ags. Tiny has Ags. So
ideally,
yeah.
if you're Spirit, you would love to knock down a tier 2 because then you can actually threaten the base trade, and that will give Vega pause. But Vega, I think they roll on mid after this. There's still a tier 1 up there.
Do you think?
I'm wondering if they consider just straight high ground.
Do you think Vega are going to fall for one of the classic blunders of the Dota world? Base racing a Tiny?
At this early, I think they could base race the Tiny.
Okay, they Laguna bladed IO and
They got the IO.
let's see. But here comes the push. And
Wards are ready. They're going to do it.
they are level 1 wards, and of course we do have Enchantress with the Dragon Lance, adding a bit of range to get rid of those two-shot wards. There it goes, out on the sidelines. Afterlife not actually getting into position for it. There's going to be an Avalanche toss combo onto Pasha. Of course, he does have that Aegis, so not too worried there. Afterlife's popping all the way out of the base, and that should be that.
They did quite a bit of damage to the tower, but they could have gotten a tier 1 and a tier 2 mid, and with the wards down, they probably won't go for that.
Off to drum charge, kill a couple creeps. Not a big
They
deal.
also did force the Tiny back, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Does give him a chance to pick up that Ags. Are you guys a fan of kind of the straight moonshot, or do you actually want him to go AC here?
For Tiny?
Yeah.
You usually want like Manta and AC and stuff like that.
I think first this amount of like aura strat, like heavy physical damage, you definitely want AC first.
No funky AM build. What's who do we name that after? Is it
CTY?
CTY?
Yeah,
it's
CTY.
CTY. So.
Oh, well, that was against the Phoenix Egg, so that was
no. There's like a lot of.
I mean, the
funny
bill
things
was
going
so
on.
bizarre because he went.
yeah, there was no Manta.
He had a random Sacred Relic. He didn't complete a Manta. Then he got a Moon Shards. And he just had like a casual Yasha.
He had a casual everything, dude. He had a BKB. He had no Manta. he had a Yasha. He had like a Yasha.
It was pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't even bad. Like he
Flats,
still played well.
Hyperstone, BKB.
Okay, looking like Iceberg is a chicken. Oh, the Light Striker Ray misses, and they're just gonna relocate him out. I mean, I feel like the Shackles could have come out to help that hit as well, but I think they knew the IO was there.
Yeah, if they can't disable the IO, then it doesn't matter what they throw at him. And they're actually going to get a pick up here on the Lycan instead.
Still
A Lycan
Aegis?
for a Wisp.
I believe he's still Aegis, but they should be able to get the kill. They didn't use any of the tiny
Round
stones.
2. Fight. While that's happening, always want to fight. Will die in the top lane. The IO relocating back. Pasha on the run, but can't escape as the Timber gets tossed in. Hooks back. Insta-smoke. Where are they going?
I feel like this actually could be like an extremely next level play. Like you never see smokes like that, but if they didn't intend
Was
it,
it
there's
scouted by the ward?
I don't know.
Also, I think they just went back to fight.
Yeah, if they don't do anything with it, it's a complete misclick and just like I don't know. But if you can actually find an opportunity to pick off somebody in your own jungle and then immediately smoke and make a move that starts building more momentum while that person's down, that's kind of the play that we don't very frequently see, and Vega would probably be caught off guard by it.
So Etherland's up on the Bane. We've talked about how powerful this can be, getting that ult off or even the Nightmare off from so far away.
Yeah, I think I know we were talking about the other day, and people are still experimenting a lot with that item and a lot of the new ones. But I definitely think Bane's on the the list of like hard supports that really benefits from it.
Yeah.
Shaman, Lion, the single target like heavy lockdown supports are big. Obviously Zeus is huge.
Yeah, I think Zeus is the top tier, and then my tier just below that would be Witch Doctor, Bane, and Rubik.
And the build into
Yeah,
it is
Rubik's
so
big.
nice as well. Like, getting, obviously, more just base mana, having some health regen magic resistance in an item, it's pretty good. So,
Can work on almost anybody.
let's see
Clock
it.
is ticking a bit for
Oh.
Vega though. They cannot feel too comfortable. They have to know this is a very even game based on the items.
And that's
They committed wards on tier 1.
I'm really surprised. I was going to say, I'm not... Maybe they're hoping to continue pushing and then have wards up for the tier 3, but I'm not...
That's not a thing.
Yeah,
That's not how the
That's
clock
not how
works.
this works.
I'm like...
That's
it's-
not how any of this works.
So, also, I don't think the Shaman is anywhere near level 11. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Shaman secretly has levels.
No.
Shows. I don't think... Oh,
He's
yeah,
level
actually,
9.
we can just see it there. So, yeah. Oh, Chen only level 8. And this is... I mean, yes, Io's also only level 8, but these supports having trouble.
Afterlife, 600 gold from the Aghanim Scepter.
Dun, dun,
Really good.
dun.
Really good pace for this Enchantress.
So, yeah, she got a lot more out of the lane than I... Oh, they showed that. I don't even know what that creep's called. It's like the slow
ghost?
lady. Ghost?
The slow lady.
Yeah, she's the woman who slows you.
The one who takes forever to give you your food in the school cafeteria.
Yep.
So
Fun
it's going to
times.
go BKB. This is gearing up for a potential big fight at the base. Looking at Vega, okay solutions for BKB, but I would not say great because Tiny still's craggy, and they're mostly relying on physical damage when he's BKB'd.
It's actually really
Lena
important.
Aggs, yeah,
for-
nowhere near it. So
I think it's really important for the Craggy, right? We've all seen where you're trying
Yeah.
to go in, you're getting close to killing the Tiny, and you're a melee hero.
And you ignore
that sucks.
Untouchable as well. That's really good.
Yes, of course.
Those two passes are like they're actually pretty counterintuitive. It's interesting because like the faster you attack, the more you get craggy stun. But the slower you attack, the more untouchable screws you over. But BKB will ignore both of those, so it's very important.
But Tiny gets his at the same time, and no more disabling that guy in a smoke.
that is a very unusual place to smoke, but here we go.
Yeah, that seems to be Team Spirit's way, huh?
It seems like it's going to work too. YOLO! Hey, Mag, how's it going, buddy? And he gets the roar off, but the grip coming through as well. Chen is about to arrive from the rear, but it's going to be too late. More reinforcements on the way. They will trap up the Bane. Already a victory if it is a 1-for-1. And goes for the sleep on the Centaur, but there's just too much follow-up. It looks like they are going to chunk down the Bane. Now turning on the Tiny. Is there any sort of relocate play? And they blast down the IO! Beautifully done by Vega.
That was a 10-second BKB wasted.
That is how you
Ouch.
do. That no one Laguna is actually brilliant. Like knew exactly what was coming in, knew exactly how to address it. That's how you do.
So having a little bit of trouble there. They thought they got the good deal, getting the kill off on Mag, but not
That
so
is
much.
super big. The BKB charge being wasted, the relocate now on cooldown. 5-man top. You already did damage to the tower. You've got the wards coming up. Oh, they're actually already up. They are missing most of their other big ults, but I think you still threaten the base here.
Yeah.
Or at least, well, we'll see. Beastmaster's already back, so I guess they want to push the lanes out.
Enchantress has the money for the Ags if she disassembles Dragonlance. Has yet to do so though. So I don't think there's any reason to keep the Dragonlance when you can just disassemble it and rebuild it later.
So you think disassemble, build the eggs, then rebuild the dragon?
Exactly.
lance?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quarterstaff and Ags,
Yeah.
and then you get Dragonlance like 1,000 gold later.
Yeah, an Ag's upgrade of damage is a bit more, I think. So
Yeah.
either way, IO just chillaxing, being poor. That's what you do. Actually, the supports, obviously a lot of this is the tower. Actually, no, it's not the tower situation. They just are really poor. Their support's unable to farm. I mean, obviously Chen, much easier of a farmer, and even this Shadow Shaman has wave clear.
Well, the way Spirit has been playing, they've been spreading the map a lot more with the cores, and the supports just sit behind them, whereas Vega is generally 5-manning, so nobody's really farming creeps to the same extent as Spirit are, which is, I think, why you see more of a farm disparity. BKB now, though. Double BKB against this lineup is really tough to deal with for Vega. I honestly don't think Vega's getting nearly enough done.
Yeah.
The more the game goes on, the better it's looking for Spirit, I would say.
I'd agree with that.
Not to say Vega can't win. They still have decent late game, but the ball is in Spirit's court more than they would like.
Yeah, and it is something where we talked about it, but if there is a little mistake made by Team Spirit, you can certainly take a Rax, but against a Tiny who already has Ags up, is probably well on his way to whatever that next item is, your window is smaller than it should be, so.
Well, Roche
free
number
Roche.
2. Yeah, the Roches are going to be free all game long,
Yeah,
but
Master Rewards are good.
Spirit know that.
And
Spirit are fine with it. They're playing it perfectly.
yeah, Tiny hasn't shown herself to the BKB what he wants to go, but I have to imagine AC seems like always a solid pickup here.
Yeah. You just want to be able to threaten the base trade as much as possible.
And they're headed up that way. I wonder if they're gonna try for the. No, okay, so Team Vega is coming back to address it. Sometimes, you know, if a team gets greedy, they do a bit of a push, forget to push out their side lanes, and you just super take advantage of it.
I think they need some BOTs for Vega.
Yeah. Think they need some. Yes, I think they need BOTs and maybe even a bit more farm on the Lycan, but they have to use this Aegis. So.
I don't know, it's hard to kind of wait for a full another item
Yeah.
from the Lycanthrope. Like, everything he wants is going to be expensive. AC is probably...
AC is the main one, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not
like,
cheap.
I feel like it delays the game just a little bit too much. And I don't know his current gold, but if he has to farm 2,000 more
It's
gold...
nowhere near enough to get an AC.
Yeah.
He's just gotten his, book 3 and Vlad's
BKB.
strats, BKB.
How many Necros do we have running around? Is it just
Beastmaster and the Lycan.
Lycan has his up? Yeah, so that's at least nice, right? You can actually push through two towers because you can have Necros.
But they have
for both.
BKBs and they have Timber Tiny. Like, they can just blow up the books.
Yeah. But definitely, you can keep them back maybe a little for the auras. I don't know. You don't normally use them that way. So we'll see. Drums. Oh, yeah. Drums for walking
I mean,
fast.
normally when you're running this strat, you just want to shovel shit at their towers. Just, like, keep it on, you know, just keep on throwing it in there like it's coal in a train. But not possible.
I don't think
right
we
now.
do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I'm old. Okay, give me a break here.
Back in your
Llama.
day? Back in your day, they shoveled. They
I
made
mean, you
shovel
guys,
coal uphill
okay,
both
you're
ways.
talking to me about things that are old. You guys use llamas to deal with dingoes? Jesus.
Yeah. Well, because we actually have. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
I
on
live in
stream.
civilization. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
We have automatic defense turrets. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't do that in Australia, so you gotta use more other methods since you're not supposed to automatic defense turrets. But anyway, Shadow Shaman also has himself the Aether Lens, whatever we're calling it.
Legend does not have a necro.
No, he
book,
does
by the
not,
way. I don't
yeah.
know why we said that.
No, that's why I was
You
like, I
started
didn't think
it.
he
I
had
was just
one.
like, yeah,
Look,
I know he has a BKB.
and
Oh,
I
you're gonna
asked,
throw me
and
under
I
the bus.
asked, and you
I'll
both. Yeah.
assume
Yep.
you know what you're talking about. I'll just
Okay.
go with the add on the BKB to it. But
But
Yeah.
Frenzy Creep, even better, guys, than a Necro book. Let's just. I actually
Yes.
don't. What's the numbers on those? Because
Hmm?
Frenzy Creep is. You can cost that, I think. You can cost it a lot, the Frenzy. That
Yeah.
creep has a lot of mana and it costs very little.
yeah, no, I mean you can cast it plenty of times, but like it's the cooldown and uptime. It's
Yeah.
like pretty close, so you'll just have it on one hero at a time.
Oh, they're getting close to having to use this Aegis. I imagine this is the push. Their lanes
Yeah,
are
they
in
were
good
they were
spot.
waiting for the Chen eggs, and now they have their timing. But the problem is Tiny is very
Mm-hmm.
close to his next item. Maybe does just buy a moon shard since it's convenient and he's right near the side shop. We'll see. No TP for 20. They do have relocate ready, but they'd much rather not come home. Let's see if they're going to be forced to. This is the big push. Mag slept just for a moment, slowing things down. Tiny in and out, and it looks like did get relocated, so he's. Or no, I guess he's just back home.
No, they relocated.
They relocated. Okay.
So that's
Oh, I
Wisp
couldn't
has
see,
to
can't see
TP
the
back.
numbers above his head.
I'm actually a little surprised they didn't have him pound at the tier 2 a little more, but the push is coming. He's up in the air, turned into a pig again, and that'll
This
be that.
Timber's just going in.
Yeah, he just BKB'd in. They lose the tower, but he's stopped them from coming in further, so
I would say that's a pretty failed push.
yeah.
They lose the Shaman, the wards get destroyed, the Timber's running at them, massacring creeps. They're all just scattering to the winds. They didn't even come close to breaking the base.
And the funny part is he didn't really use too much. He just kind of blunk him with BKB, and they had no interest. Obviously, he can do a lot of damage output, but
No,
Guess so.
we didn't see the draft from the previous game, but it just feels like Vega are rapidly approaching the exact same situation where
Yeah.
they had this all-in draft that had to have a win condition at a certain point in time, and now they can spread the map, they can do a couple of annoying things, but Team Spirit are becoming more and more of this lineup that has indestructible heroes and plenty of ways to deal with what Vega are bringing.
Well, and last game, I would say Vega had much more late game. They had Prophet, Zeus, and Ember. Like a much more global pressure, 3 heroes that can turbo farm and scale well. This game, even more so. Like the way they've itemized, and I think these heroes scale pretty well, but they've played it as a 5-man draft, not as like a farming draft or split push, which I mean was obviously the idea, but it's at the point now where it's just the BKBs are really a problem. These, like you said, these heroes are very tanky.
So is the Deso some indication that we're going for some rat? Like, Lycan Deso is not the most common.
You see the Deso, that's like, I need extra damage to try and break structures right now, as opposed to trying to save up for an AC.
I mean, it used to be a lot more common. I would say when Lycan was very like just about killing heroes, like he could run people down. I think when he had the HP buff, where he had low base attack time, high HP, he was very man mode. He just goes in and kills off a hero very, very quickly. It used to be like Lycan versus Lifestealer, and you would see the armor reduction come into play very, very effectively. Then he goes into Basher and stuff like that. But we are seeing still an emphasis on towers for Vega as a whole. Maybe they hope to kill a low armor hero like the IO really quickly, and then turn that into more.
They need to get Rex like 5 minutes ago, honestly.
Yeah.
This draft should have a lane of Rex by 25.
And the
I would say at the
scariest part
latest.
is you're saying, like, IO Tiny, we've seen them win from a 15,000 or more gold deficit. They're one of the combos which can do really well against being behind. They're not. They're ahead against a push lineup, so...
Yeah. I
Not
mean, there's
looking
still
great.
plenty of kill potential. Like, Shapeshift BKB on an Enchantress, like that Enchantress has no armor, no untouchable. Obviously, the creeps can't hit her very well, but the Lycan himself can, like, kill her in 5 hits.
I like these circles. Whoever we're obsing draws some really nice circles. You can tell that they've practiced quite a bit. Maybe we're a circle champion in their region.
Attic event.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Very friendly.
And his name has cat in it.
No, it doesn't.
It
No,
does.
it actually
It
doesn't.
does. It does in my mind. So
Roland, can we confirm in the top right
no,
corner?
I'm pretty sure I definitely sent him cat pictures. So oops about that.
There
Yeah.
you go.
It's almost.
Your
No,
mind.
it's not. It's not even close. I'm. I can't spell. I can't read.
Yeah.
It's the real problem.
Yeah,
They
so
don't teach that in Australia.
Llama had not sampled the Cali Kush prior to coming here, and she had a little bit too much before the
Look,
broadcast.
in Seattle things are very different.
I apologize, everybody.
So-
We're gonna try to calm her down.
We have
We've got the
rules and
Xanax ready if things get out of hand.
so we have creeps dying. Poor creeps. Not great being creep here. What do? I just don't think Vega has a way. Like, can you transition your lineup into something else? They can't go super
No,
late with these
it's-
heroes.
They
No.
can't. They can't just try. They might have to try, but
Yeah. I think you just run
they
it.
haven't played nearly greedy enough to try and go just pure late game.
The Tiny's going to have the IO behind him always, and you don't really care about an IO pickoff, so I think you just run at the Enchantress with the Lycan and the Beastmaster like smoke, and those two heroes can kill her pretty quick. I guess you'd have to pop a BKB for that, though, and then you don't have BKB for a push. It's weird. Laguna's the alternative, but even then I think she's just now getting tanky enough that the Laguna's insufficient. So I feel like you actually have to pop a BKB on the Lycan just to kill the Enchantress, and then turn that into a push.
And you still have to deal with Timber's D-push, Tiny.
Yeah, it's awkward. And right now they only have the one Necro, right, on the Beastmaster, so you can still enchant that and take that away. Like, it's just... they don't have an easy in.
Their overall game plan from Spirit has just been really very calm and thoughtful. Like, whether you look at the early relocates to push out the waves, or just going for the tower trade mid and top, where they almost got 2 towers for 1. Like, every decision as a team has been strategically very sound.
Godblack's good for it, man. He really knows how to make the most out of the heroes.
So we've got a bunch of gold up on the Tiny. What do you want to see next? Oh, I know you've mentioned the Monta. I'm always a fan of Crit.
What did you call it?
Monta. That's.
I thought you said the Manda.
the Monta. Oh, look. So I don't even
Sounds
know.
like a
if-
tribal dance.
Exotic Snake.
we got a lot of those where I'm from. So, yeah. What do you want to see on Tiny?
Moon shards.
Just moonshot.
Solid.
Yeah.
Butterfly's not. Butterfly's actually really good here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay. They know about it. They're gonna get there a little too late. Did they try to take the fight? Anyway,
Just
Tiny
leave it,
just
walk away. Lead the gasoline, they'll spare your lives.
Somebody's being primal roared immediately. Nightmare does well. Always want to fly the IO blown up, but it looks like they've got the getaway. And yeah, they pop a BKB though there, and Timber should still be able to get away. Timber Chain's an excellent spell, so it ends up being very much worth it. That BKB. Well, the Wolfman's still
I
on
mean,
his way.
they can't even scratch him. Let's be serious here.
Reactive Alm is a great thing.
Looks cool too. Like, into a super astronaut bubble.
That was a nice pick, but does it lead to objectives? I mean,
this
really
is their best chance.
This is the Aegis. Like, at this point, they have to get something.
Oh, Satyr creep pushing out the top lane. Shockwave's OP.
Disgusting little rat.
I think he may actually be like, what is he, a goat thing?
It's
The
a Satyr. It's a demonic goat, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Glad we have that. Wait, how do you know he's demonic? He's just living in the jungle.
It's a Satyr.
His name is Satyr Tormentor. Obviously,
Okay,
he's not a
look,
nice guy.
No, what if that's rebranding on someone else's part, right?
Super
like,
friendly.
yeah, what if he just didn't have a cup of sugar one time?
That's actually propaganda right there. Chen is calling the Enchantresses
Exactly.
Satyrs Tormentors, and Enchantress is calling the Chens Satyrs
Like,
Tormentors.
let's be
Alright.
real. Both Chen and Enchantress are kind of messed up. They actually enslave creeps in the jungle who are just trying to build families. Like, there's something wrong here in this Dota world.
There's a lot of things wrong in the Dota world. If you really want to nitpick.
The more I cast with you guys, the more things I am finding wrong with this Dota.
We've got Tiny just smacking away creeps. I mean,
Butterfly, I love
Yep.
it.
Here we
Good
go.
call.
Tony is large and in charge.
Honestly, this item on Tiny always makes me think of the Base Hunter video. Like the
Which one?
The really old. It's we're sitting in Ventrilo playing Dota,
yeah.
and like half the clips is just a Tiny beating the shit out of buildings with a butterfly.
That movie, that video is like hardly about Dota at all. That's
Yeah.
the best part. Just happens to be Dota on. It has CRTs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is there's like the dudes playing Dota and then there are like their girlfriends waiting on beanbags watching that. I'm like, that's not how it goes, guys. So, yeah, there's some.
That's how I live my life. I don't know about you, but
I would not wait on a beanbag like if somebody played Dota. But I just thought that was really funny.
You're not a good Dota groupie.
No. Yeah, but they're not wrong. They're all Dota groupies. Yeah. Seen a couple of those. So moving right along, and the Bane. This is a gem going to be traded, right?
Oh, they
Oh, no!
relocated onto
Wait,
it.
whoa,
They
whoa,
wanted to
whoa,
turn
whoa.
this around. They have the BKB. Can Tony get the work done? Goes to clobber in action onto Simon the Slayer, but the War Trap is absolutely immaculate. He finally starts turning.
my God.
He's getting completely comboed and chain stunned.
Did
What
they
an
just-
incredible play. There's no buybacks on 3 heroes. Can he even get out? Ramsey's trying to retreat. He will escape barely at that. Is this the game-changing fight? Afterlife about to be sent there at this rate. Scrambling for the rune. Not even going to get close. Yules drop him up and down. Hex as well. Double damage. Easy grab for no one. 4 dead. 0 buybacks.
Did they actually just lose this game? Like, the creep waves aren't great. Backdoor protection's still up. But
They still
though,
have the Aegis. Too.
how do you take a fight like that?
That ward trap.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's a game-winning ward trap.
Especially the new wards. 2 hits. Tiny takes an hour and a half to hit something twice. It's impossible.
I'm so confused. Why would you relocate in that? You can lose the Bane. Yeah, it's a gem, but just give it off. Like,
Well, I think they thought the Bane could live a bit longer, and then they could turn the fight, but it just did not.
Oh
The timing
gosh.
was not quite right. Turns into a disaster, and then you're committed.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're going for this. They
Vega-
have every incentive in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
Bane's
know how
dead.
hard it is to end the game. Could Bane die again? Goblet, not like this. You've played so well with the draft. The execution, it's not there when they need a Vega. Going straight onto the melee racks. The Triceratops has finally arrived. Wolves, dragons, a whole menagerie. The entire zoo's here. Ramsey's into the thick of things, though. Jumping over the top with the chain. It's going to force Vega back, but they have, at long last, 37.5 minutes in, claimed their first melee racks.
on the downside, of course, right? You're still against a Tiny. While that was a great objective, they still need way more. There's a lot. Team Spirit, yes, it sucks that you just lost that team fight, but you're still in a great place.
I think the biggest problem for Vega is that they can't possibly hope for something that disastrous to happen ever again. Like, there's no way you don't learn from that. Your team spirit, and unless somebody is sick in the head, Goblack has gone from a mad genius to just straight up mad. There's no way that you actually go for a fight like that again.
They actually go for a refresher on the Beast Monster.
Oh.
I mean, it's something we've seen a few times, but generally, sometimes he builds like an AC or so, and I didn't actually see if he's already got that up. But yeah, it's going to be nice to have the Primal Roar, and they are hoping for another mistake from the looks of things, or at least 2 pickoffs in quick succession.
No, that can't happen more than once a game. Like, I would.
Are you trying to make it happen more than
That
once
cannot
again?
happen more than once a game. This is.
How much money do you have on Vega here? Please?
Jeez.
So how much mana does the Beast Monster actually have? Because he still has brown boots, so I'm not sure on the refresher numbers.
I think he has. With the Necro book, he should have enough.
Yeah.
I think.
So Tiny still able to push out top pretty easily. Now to the place where we're going to be replacing drums. He's actually probably after that fight wants to save for buyback.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They have enough items. It's much more about just having a good fight.
Yeah.
He spent his entire BKB just dancing around in the middle of a pile of wards. That was not the way to go for a Tiny. But yeah, I mean, you can get moon shards. What else could Tiny go for at this point?
I mean, he can, of course, consume the Moon Shard. We already talked a little about Monto or Crit. I don't think they're worried about building Siege. He's already got enough of that, so he doesn't need... does anybody have Evasion at all on Vega? I didn't see a Solar Crest, but
No,
maybe
not
by
really.
now something's come out. So
Surprisingly not. Normally for a strat like this, you'll see a Solar Crest.
especially since they're doing Roche so much.
Yeah. They don't really have that one hero that wants to be up in front and hit the tower. Maybe Lycan, but he's generally the summons are doing more of that.
Mana is 1,000.
Oh.
200.
Relocate
Okay.
on bottom. They are going to find Mag. Nice. Splat.
Bonk.
Yep, that was not so great to be back. They also pick up the MKB for Lycan,
So
of
Wisp
course.
top?
So
Wisp.
Shaman hunting.
Oh,
no,
maybe
he's
okay.
over topper and Lino wants him.
But yeah. So the cool thing about the refresher on Beastmaster, Primal Roar only costs 200 mana, so
Yeah.
it's actually one of the
Yeah.
easier spells to refresh.
I just wasn't sure about his base.
775.
Yeah, he's got 1,000, so
Yeah.
he's good.
So Io manages to escape the Lina. It's
Yeah.
not the most other than the few climactic moments. It doesn't even feel to me right now. It doesn't actually feel that tense for either team because I think they both know they can sit back and farm. Although as I say that, Team Spirit says no, we're actually going to push a tier 2.
EU Dota, guys. 20 kills in 41
passive
minutes.
play.
The hype.
No passive play.
It's actually been a real trend with this this tournament. The very slow-paced, low kill count games. Here we go. High ground is happening, and it's happening now. It's clubbing time for Tiny. Iceberg going to work on the tower. No one will get off the initial stun here, but the Shivas comes out as Ramses threatens no one. There is not much of a rat play, just a small creep wave pushing in the top lane, but they do start to bring Iceberg low. The dragons get angry. They breathe a bit of fire and force him back.
That Ignite actually did a lot of damage to Tiny. He just stood in it.
Oh, Rex!
It's ranged.
Oh, they went back for the range, and they lost the
Yeah.
range. That's
It's-
not great.
It's ranged. Shouldn't have gone back
I
for
mean,
it.
all they got on the dire side was a glyph. I mean,
Afterlife, your full stuff is on CD. So
he's got it. He's fine.
okay,
That's
yeah,
no
as if that's your
problem.
definition of fine. And they might lose the IO as
Oh,
well.
the tether break.
There's no buyback on IO.
Jeez.
Top lane already fairly pushed in.
I'm just saying. You said that they can't get that disaster again, and I think they're looking pretty.
I mean, they can still hold it. The Team Spirit is not in a desperate position, but it's they get forced to buy back. They back off.
Been a rough game for the IO.
I don't know if they're backing off.
No one's had eyes only for
I mean, they're kind of desperate.
Blink,
Okay.
initiation, quick BKB off the bat. The Timber saw it's just going to back off right away. They should be able to clean up most of the wards, but now the Hex comes onto Ramses, the Roar onto Afterlife. They've got a second Roar available, I do believe, but the Grip onto No One
Nightmare!
Shadowrun coming through. Nice force staff to keep him alive, rolling in with the Tiny. The entire BKB being wasted. They've got a secondary Roar available. They're going to let it fly now. Then the Lycan charges forward. 2, 3 hits, just blows up Bambi, hits Venison for dinner, and then it's going to be the Bane, nearly dead. Next barely surviving with the Brain Zap, turning the fight, but Ramses is down. The Dragons are in, and Vega desperately trying to take this later. X-Force got the double buyback as the Timber, the Tiny, they re-engage. Vega on the run, hanging on for dear life. No Enchantress any longer, dead again for a minute, but they do hang on barely at that.
I think there's wards still in the base. There were like 4 left. No, they've taken them
They
out.
killed them all pretty early on.
Yeah.
The Timber ended up just wandering up to them,
So,
but that was not good. For
so
Team
Enchantress respawn. She didn't buy back.
She
right?
bought.
Spirit.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
she bought
did
back.
buy
She
back.
had to
Okay,
buy
so
back
that's
at the
a
beginning
buyback.
of the fight when she was
So
ganked.
they've triple bought back on all of their
Yes.
cores then.
And now they don't.
Timber Tiny, and Enchantress all bought back. I don't.
And that was like an 8-second BKB. This is the problem.
And
That was
that-
a long BKB, and he wasn't able to use it, was kited around that fight. Primal Roar took quite a bit of that duration. When it's 5 seconds, he's going to be completely useless.
Now, one big aspect of that fight, though, was Goblek's performance on the Bane. The Nightmare on the Beastmaster. He got the Roar on the Enchantress, which he had just force-staffed away. They were looking to focus her down very early in that fight, but the Nightmare comes out on the Beastmaster, and he can't go for the Refresher Roar. He can't keep her locked in place. She gets a she gets to move again. She does end up dying, but that's a lot later in the fight. She could have just been diebacked right there, but the Godblack really saved the day with one clutch Nightmare, so that is still very important. But because there was cheese and the Lycan didn't die when he was so close to falling, they still walk away, and I actually am not as convinced about Team Spirit's position.
Well,
in this
that
game.
one blown fight from earlier could really come back to haunt them. Prior to that, I would say Spirit were in the driver's seat. Then it was pretty even, and now
Tiny is
I don't
super
know.
late blink.
the balance of power may be slipping.
That's his next item. He decides for the blink. Obviously, gonna finish up that 6 slotting with a bots most likely.
Here we go with the Roche fight.
We'll see. Oh yeah, take that boy. She's got it again. They're backing on out. I don't think Team Spirit want to make
None
a
of their
mistake.
cores have buyback, and they're aggressively forcing a Roche fight. This is super risky. But at the same time, they don't want Vega to get that Aegis and be able to just brute force their way in. Are they going to commit? They're thinking about it. Now the Wolf, bit of scouting up the cliff. Not sure if either team has detection right now. It all hangs in the balance. Vega, a loss here, and Spirit will take the series 2-0.
Oh, they disable the blink onto Mag. He is full stuffed away. Laguna Blade doesn't really anything to Iceberg. Glimmer Cape helping out now. Mag looking like he's in a lot of trouble. He manages to get out the Necro Creeps. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're blown up as well. Bane is dead again. Can they do anything else? Chakram right on top of the Lena, but always want to fly the Io. Wolfman, he is there. He's doing a lot of damage, and the stun isn't enough. Sioma
Goes in!
Oh!
Pasha!
Almost the ward trap. Not quite enough.
They want more. They're hunting onto Solo. Buyback from the Shaman. The Lycan is going to be forced to run all the way back to base. Oh, that's going to leave a mark. Solo. Thank God for the damage cap. Or you would be mega dead right now. And Spirit, overall, I think pretty happy with that fight.
Yeah, they can get the Roche now, and oh,
They might force the Beastmaster buyback. It seems like Vega still want to contest. Vega could also lose the game right here with diebacks on key heroes.
but Tiny's actually pretty low. Iceberg's not so healthy, so I don't know if they can do this. Laguna Blade will be not sure if
Blink.
Sioma.
Hex to start it off. Laguna's ready, and they got him. That's a dieback. That's 110 seconds. He was half health at the start of the fight. They might lose Afterlife as well. Surrounded and pounded by an army of creeps. And now on the high ground is Ramses. Kexed up, dead for sure. And with that, a gem hits the deck. That's a triple dieback on all 3 cores. They're going to take a pit stop for the Roche. And then it's time to march down mid and look for 2, maybe 3 lanes of Rex.
So game 3 probably incoming at this point is what it feels like without the buybacks. But the other thing is this has to be upsetting for Spirit, right? You could have. I'm sure they felt that they were in a great position, and they've made just a mistake after mistake in these engagements. How do you come back from that mentally? Obviously, they're they've been playing Dota for a while. I'm sure it doesn't affect them as much as we're saying, but it has to be frustrating.
Oh, triple dieback and losing at the Roche like that, that is
Not how
tilting.
you want to enter
That
game
is-
3.
That is tilting.
So hopefully they'll be able to get a bit of a break here, but it looks like it's just going to be everything going down. GG's all cold, and yeah, got to get back on the couch.
They call it, and my goodness. Well, first I thought Vega was going to have an easy time of taking those early objectives. Then as it looked like Spirit had kind of clawed their way back and done enough in the lanes to secure the mid to late game, but that one fight with the ward trap bottom, that really, that did them in.
Both of these games we've seen teams succeed past what we thought their timing window was. Do you think we're just some changes in this patch, we're not understanding how long a push lineup can work till?
I don't know. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about him.
This is like,
It's okay. Shake it off, buddy.
you got to stop betting on these matches.
Well, no, he had money on Vega. He's happy.
Sure.
He's happy about the result. Maybe not about the Dota.
The Dota is something else. I mean, obviously it all comes down to that relocate fight, and it just snowballs from there. That was just like the worst fight you could possibly take. It seemed obvious from the beginning, but they're like, you have a small chance of doing it because with the Bane. I can't even think right now. Like, that was just an absolute disaster for Team Spirit. This game was in the bag. I would be spamming the
chat wheel, yeah.
the prediction, and it would be taunting and doing whatever, because that game was a game that should not have been lost by Team Spirit. But
We have a game 3. That's the good news for us.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say the Lycan built really well. Like, if you're running in an Enchantress with BKB, Desolator, MKB, and Shapeshift, the impetus does nothing at melee range, and you're in a good position to get kills, and then you have the MKB for the butterfly as well. So like the Lycan played well, and across the board there were some good plays coming out, but I still feel like Spirit had that one in the bag. There were multiple fights that should never have happened. The Roche, I mean, I don't even know.
Tilting game, not just for the players, but also for the cast.
Yeah, I hope it's not going to affect them into Game 3. There will be a bit of a break, right? The lobby has to go up. I'm sure they're all saying, hey, it's been 2 games. Let's make sure we go to the bathroom to get a drink. I really hope it doesn't affect them because Team Spirit had been playing really well. It is double elimination, so they have another chance even if they fall to the losers bracket. But
yeah, you're not thinking about that now. You're thinking,
Yeah.
we should have already won the series 2-0. What the hell happened? I want to go break a couple of things or at least squeeze a stress ball
yeah.
quietly for a little while and then come back.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be getting that, but we should be going into a break and then into a Game 3. So
Roland, save us. I think Roland's having a cigarette.
there. So, there we go.
All right.